it's not what you think. Well, actually it might be. I've got no idea what you're thinking. Okay, I'm not arsing about here. There's a genuine reason for me putting Project Nigel onto the back of the recovery truck. And I'm sure you know full well that it's not because it's going to a new home. I have not been offered that £83,000 for it. Introduction, yes. This weekend in Leeds is the Furious Driving Social Meet, and I will be attending in my car, known as Nigel. I want it to look at its best because there's probably going to be quite a few people there, and I want those people to like it. Now, does that give you a clue? Probably not a very good one. You're bound to know that I want this car to be as nice as possible. But one thing I do struggle with, and maybe others do as well, is actually cleaning the bottom of the car because it's too low down and I don't enjoy getting on the floor. So, now it's not on the floor, at least not on that floor, it's on the truck floor. So it's, it's about 2.5 feet up. That is going to make this job quite a bit easier. But what job is that? Well, cleaning the lower half of the car and getting this lower part scratch free and nice and smooth enough for the dirt to fall off like it is at the top. That's the idea. Amongst some rather unrealistic things I want is this sill along here. As you can see, is absolutely solid. There's no rust on there, but it has got dirt on it. And it's got dirt on because it is quite difficult to get to clean. Many men want something of their cars that is unobtainable, and mine is I want other people to basically swoon when they see it. Yeah, and the only way that's going to happen is if they look under the sill and see there's no dirt there. Now, just look at this with a quick wash. Look at that. What's your reaction to that? I know what it should be. It should be okay, shut up now. So now I'm going to do the same with the other side. There we go, that's before a clean. And then here it is again after a clean. Worthy work, I'm sure you'll agree. While I'm down here as well, I have noticed something that is going to need my attention before too long. The exhaust is looking just a bit crusty there, typical of the midsection part of the exhaust on these cars. What I need to do is to stop selling them and start keeping a couple, just like I need to do with alternators, because when that alternator fails, I haven't got one because I sell them to people. And the other thing is, here's a rather sticking point for me actually. A couple of years back, I bought a ignition blue MGZR. It was going for scrap because basically the alternator had failed. So I got it back here and I fit a brand new alternator that I happened to have. It came off another car. And then I sold that car, and then the next person scrapped it for no real reason. And that's a wasted alternator as well as a wasted car and a wasted decent headlining. You see, car scrapping culture is really annoying me. Been meaning to sort this out for a while, this wing liner, because it's been sticking out, old screws stuck in there that never got out. I've been removing them. Right, okay, the most bizarre thing has happened. Inside there I have happened to have found this. That's the O-ring for the high pressure fuel line that fell off, and I couldn't use again because it was snagged. But how did it end up in there? I was looking for that as well. Right, well that's a lot better than it was before. It's not perfect, still a bit of a crack on there, but at least that's secure. That's what I want it to be. And now onto the front bumper, where we can see this rather characterful gap and floppy bits, which is characterful for a Rover, but I'd like it if it wasn't like that. I had some stainless steel brackets for the wing to the bumper, and in a rather generous mood I gave them to a man at Rover Revival. The tried and tested method of the cable tie shall once again come into play. Do you know, I'm feeling in a particular dominant mood today. Not so much Captain Mustard, but Sergeant No Nonsense. I feel like shouting at people. Not for any reason, just for the joy of shouting. Shouting loudly. Not too loudly though, because I'd find that annoying. Well, I've had to bring the car down this end so I could drill out the broken bolt on the wing so I can make a better attachment here. That's as good as it's going to get, I'm afraid. Still better though. Right, that's the bottom part of the car, nicely polished up. Yeah, not nicely but reasonably so. Safely off the truck. I haven't entirely finished what I want to do with the lower parts of the car, but I don't want to leave it on the truck. This may sound a bit strange, but what if someone nicks the truck? Yeah, now this car is, to anybody else, isn't really worth much, but to me it is, and it just carries on being more and more, I don't know, it just means more to me all the time. The more I do on it, the more I know I'll never get rid of it. And that £83,000 that I originally wanted for it, well, I'm afraid it's gone up. So you've missed the boat there. I'll return to these jobs tomorrow because now it is 20 past 6 and it really is time I went home. Good night, Nigel. And I really did mean that. Obviously over the past couple of years I've put a substantial effort into Nigel to turn him into a 25 that you've never seen before. A 25 that didn't come out of a factory, that never came out of the factory like that, but contains only things that did come out of the factory. And that is the way it's going to stay. Clearly liked this car for a very long time, and some may say liked it more than it actually deserves. But it's only getting stronger, the bond. It's the next day being Wednesday, and it's wet. A lovely wet Wednesday. As you know, me and Nigel's having some special treatment because of a special guest or something this weekend. They only mentioned it a couple of minutes ago. I presume you haven't forgotten about it. But what can I do in the rain? I don't want to be doing any mechanical stuff, but that's good because it doesn't need any. On my shelves of chemicals and paints and cleaning products and stuff, I'm looking for something rather specific. And it's not that or that, and they're almost empty. And it's not bicarbonate of soda, and it's not that, and it's not that. Where is the thing I'm looking for? Where has it gone? It should be here. I've got loads of the stuff. One job I can certainly do in the rain is clay barring. So I'm going to do that because that door's never been done, the bonnet's never been done, and neither has the other door, come to think of it. And there are some slightly rough feeling bits on the paintwork that could benefit from smoothing out and having the little bits taken out. I've got quite a few minor scratches on this car as well, and the trouble with having something with so many different colours is that obviously you need lots of different touch-up paints, and as it goes I haven't got any of them. This clay stuff, it only really works if it's kind of soft. It's very difficult for it to be soft when it's a bit cold outside, and certainly when it's wet. And that's why I'm using a hairdryer to keep it, to get it soft. The only thing is I keep dropping the stuff on the floor and having to replace it. If it gets full of grit, it's not much use. Right, there we have the car, clay barred all over, the bottom cleaned as well. Lots of hairdryer work and a few dropped bits of clay bar to chuck away at later, and I've done the whole lot. It doesn't really take very long. But now I'm going to nip out and go and get a couple of other products. Next for Nigel, it's just a quick buff over because the paint is actually quite good. And then some of that magic black hole stuff, and then some of that naughty natties paste or whatever that's called. That's supposed to be really good stuff. But I could do with it not raining, not winding so much as well. It's raining, I may as well give this a charge up, couldn't I? Just a bit of waiting around now for this stuff to dry, and then I can apply some wax. And then will I be finished? No, because then I've got the natties naughty wax as well, wax paste to put on. And will I be finished then? No, because then I'll have to go around all the plastic bits and use like the plastic conditioner, because they'll have white chalky bits all over them. And then when I'll be finished? No. At last, the sun is coming out. The sun is coming out. It's coming out to play with his Teflon hat. So much for it stopping raining. I've had to bring it in here. Can't get all this stuff off while it's wet. That's just, yeah, it just doesn't work. It's looking quite good. Quick rinse off, and then the wax. This is going to be fantastic because that's beaded off so easily, even without any wax on. Right, just put a lot of this stuff on because the naughty natty stuff tells you to put this kind of stuff on first. This has been sat around for ages and it's gone like chewing gum. But that didn't stop me from spreading it all over the car. Well, whether it's separated or not, it looks like chewing gum. This does an excellent job. Look at that. Wedgwood brought back to life. Superb. And I haven't even finished. Whereas that Scotch stuff smells kind of a bit strange and looks like chewing gum. This stuff here, which is the final bit, smells like ladies' hair conditioner. That is the waxing finished, and that's not direct sunlight. Can't wait for some direct sunlight to see this. This thing is going to pop like the proverbial weasel. And now I'm going to spray some of this stuff on the wheels, which will hopefully help the brake dust fall back off once it lands on there. Just waiting for that sun to come out so I can get some proper shots of this with direct sunlight on it. I've always enjoyed doing work on Nigel like that, but I don't think I've ever, well, I haven't ever spent so long just messing around with paint. Not actual paint, but finish on the paint. And I feel inspired to do the same thing with Alfie. Yeah, I do, because this has got very nice paints on it, but it could do with that thing where it just properly repels the water so nothing sticks to it at all. Yes, that's what it needs. That's what it'll get. But we're not talking about Alfie today. We're talking about Nigel. Nigel! Lots of people know Nigel. Lots of people have seen pictures of this car. But when you see it actually in the metal, I think it's particularly vivid. Yes. And I like that. I like the fact that you think, well, look at that thing, even though you know what it looks like beforehand. But now it's even more like that. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's over the top. I'd say it's just right. It's interesting. It's a nice car. I like it. I like to think it's one of those cars that if it goes by, you can't not notice it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to stare at it. You don't have to want it. You don't have to talk to me about it. You don't have to do anything. But I do think that it's such a vivid thing that you can't not like it. If anybody doesn't like Nigel, I think there's something a bit strange about them. I don't mean love it or want to own it yourself or want one just like it yourself, but you can't not like it. Yeah. Well, my wife says she doesn't like it, but I don't believe her.